My people, imagine this: a woman wakes up at 5 a.m, she opens her supermarket, she sweeps the floor, she arranges her shelves, she smiles at the first customer walking. By evening, she has made sales, customer came, money entered the cash register. So business was good, right? Wrong, because while she was celebrating today's sales, something else was happening quietly right there on her shelf. Money was dying, not stolen, not borrowed, not taxed, just dying. And the painful part, she did not even know it. Let me ask you something. If I gave you 5 million naira today, would your business grow? Most people will quickly say, of course. But what if I told you some businesses already have millions of naira trapped inside their shops, yet they are still borrowing money? Today, we are exposing one of the biggest business secrets hiding in plain sight, a secret used by supermarkets, manufacturers, distributors, and the biggest fast-moving consumer goods companies in the world. A secret called material planning. Don't let the name scare you, because before this documentary ends, you will never look at a shop shelf the same way again. If you are a trader, a supermarket owner, a pharmacy owner, a cosmetic seller, or you dream of running a successful business one day, this episode is for you. Hit subscribe, because here on Street MBA with Kapick, we don't just teach business, we uncover the business lessons hidden inside everyday Nigerian life. Now, let's begin. There is one supermarket close to my area. Every time I pass there, customers are entering, children buying biscuits, parents buying picnic, somebody carrying indomie cartons, another person buying soft drink. From outside, everything looks successful. But one afternoon, I noticed something strange. The owner carried one carton of yogurt, walked behind the shop and threw it away. Expired. Then another carton. Expired. Then fruit juice. Expired. Even bread. Expired. I stood there thinking, how can a busy shop still throw away so much stock? Was Nigerian economy the problem? No. Was there no demand? No. Customers were buying every day. So what went wrong? The answer wasn't outside the shop. The answer was on the shelf. Wait, before you blame your customers or even the economy, answer this honestly. Have you ever entered a shop, pick up a drink, check the expiry date, and quietly return it? I know I have. Tell me in the comments, because that one small habit is more powerful than most shop owners realize. Many people think more products mean more profit, so they keep buying more biscuits, more needles, more drinks, more milk, more detergents, more beverages. The shelves become full, the shop look rich, customers are impressed. But let me tell you something that shocked me. A full shelf doesn't always mean a healthy business. Sometimes it means the owner's money has stopped moving. Business is not about how much stock you have. Business is about how fast your stock turns back into cash. That is where many small businesses lose the game. Listen carefully. Products are not wealth. Cash flow is wealth. A carton sitting on your shelf for 6 months is not working for you. It is occupying your capital, because money should move. Because once money stops moving, business starts slowing down. Now, let's enter a word most people never hear about: material planning. When I first heard the name, I thought it was only for engineers, maybe people working inside factories, big grammar, big offices, computers everywhere. But after digging deeper, I realized something. Material planning is not just for multinational companies. It is for anybody who buys, stores, and sells products. Whether you own a supermarket in Surulere, a provision shop in Abeokuta, a pharmacy in Mushin, or you are selling soft drinks in Kano, you are already doing material planning. The only question is, are you doing it well, or are you planning your losses? Imagine you are selling indomie. Every week, you order 10 cartons, customer buy 8, 2 cartons remain. Next week, you order another 10, again, customer buy 8, 2 remain. Month after month, those old cartons stay at the back, while new cartons keep arriving. Everything looks normal until one day you discover some parts are damaged, some have expired, some customers refuse them because they look old. Now ask yourself, did you lose money that day? No, you actually started losing money weeks ago. You just noticed it today. Business problems rarely begin the day you discover them. They usually begin the day you ignore small warning signs. And here is where the story becomes really interesting, because the biggest supermarkets don't arrange products randomly. There is a science behind every shelf, a science so simple that once you understand it, you will wonder why nobody taught you this in school. And that is exactly where we are going next. In the next part, we are going to uncover two powerful principles that silently control billions of naira worth of products every single day. One is called FIFO, the other is called FEFO. Most Nigerian shop owners think they know the difference. Most of them don't, and that one mistake could be the reason they are throwing money into the dustbin without realizing it, because sometimes the biggest enemy of your business is not low sales, it is poor planning. So, in part 1, we discover something shocking. A shop can be busy, customers can be buying, cash can be entering the drawer, and yet the business is quietly losing money. Not because sales are low, but because products are sitting on the shelf, waiting to become expired stock. Today, we are about to expose one simple principle that separates businesses that survive from businesses that struggle. And trust me, once you understand this, you will never arrange products on a shelf the same way again. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you are inside a supermarket. One shelf, 20 bottles of yogurt. Everything look fresh, everything look neat, everything look the same. But here's the truth, those bottles are not equal. One bottle expires tomorrow, another expires next month, another expires 3 months from now. To the customers, they all look identical, but to a smart business owner, each bottle is telling a different story. One is saying, "Sell me now." Another is saying, "You still have time." If you don't understand that language, your shelf becomes a silent thief. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the expiry date of the products inside your own shop? Not one product, not two, all of them. If you can't remember, then this documentary is already paying for itself. Let's start with something many traders have heard before. FIFO, first in, first out. Simple. The first product that enter your shop should be the first product to leave. Imagine you bought 10 cartons of Pick Milk on Monday. On Friday, another 10 cartons arrive. FIFO says, don't start selling Friday's carton first. Finish Monday cartons, then move to Friday's delivery. Simple, logical, easy. This principle prevents old stock from hiding behind new stock. For many businesses, FIFO works perfectly, but here is where things become interesting, because life does not always follow simple rules. So, let's take a distributor who delivers fruit juice to your shop today. Expiry date December. 3 days later, another distributor arrives. Different supplier, better promotion, lower price. You buy again, but this batch expires in October. Now think carefully. Which one should you sell first? The one that came first or the one that will expire first? Most people answer wrongly, and that is where money starts disappearing. This next lesson is worth more than many business seminars, because this one mistake has emptied thousands of shelves across Nigeria. Stay with me. Now, let me introduce you to the smarter cousin of FIFO, FEFO. First expiry, first out. Notice the difference. Not first in, first expiry. This changed everything. Imagine 2 cartons of yogurt. The newer delivery expires sooner. Under FIFO, you might mistakenly sell the older delivery first, but under FEFO, you ignore which one arrived first. You move to the one with the nearest expiry date first, because expiry date is more important than arrival date. That is why supermarkets, pharmacies, food companies and beverage manufacturers rely heavily on FEFO for products that can expire. They are not just arranging shelves, they are protecting money, they are protecting customer trust, they are protecting their reputation. So, business is not about following habits, it is about following facts. The product doesn't care when it enters your shop, it only knows when it will expire. If you ignore that, your profit will quietly disappear. So let's leave theory, let's come to our streets. You are selling Pick Milk, Milo, Indomie, Coke, yogurt, bread, mayonnaise, sardines, baby food, medicines, cosmetics. What do all these products have in common? Time. Every single one is racing against the calendar. Some race slowly, some race fast, but every day they remain unsold. They are getting closer to becoming a loss. That is why successful traders don't just count products, they count days. There is a woman in many Nigerian markets, maybe even in yours. She does not have an MBA. She has never worked in multinational company. She may never have heard of the word FIFO. Yet, watch her carefully. When new drink arrives, she quietly moves the older ones to the front. The newer cartons, she places them behind. Customers naturally pick what is in front. She smiles. Everything keeps moving. She may not know the English acronym, but she understands the wisdom. Sometimes Street MBA with Kapick comes before classroom MBA. Quick challenge: the next time you enter a supermarket, don't buy anything immediately. Just stand there for 1 minute. Watch how they arrange their shelves. You are not just looking at products, you are looking at millions of naira being carefully protected. Let us be honest, if you buy expired yogurt once, will you rush back to that same shop? Probably not. If your child drinks expired juice, who will you blame? The manufacturer? No, you will blame the shop. That means one expired product does not only destroy inventory, it destroys trust, and trust is one of the most expensive things to rebuild. A customer may forgive high prices, a customer may forgive slow service, but many customers will never forgive unsafe products. That is why proper shelf management is not just inventory management, it is marketing, it is customer retention, it is brand building. Every product you sell is making a promise. If the promise is broken, the customer does not just reject the product, they reject your business. So remember the owner from part 1, the one throwing cartons into the dustbin. The problem wasn't that she bought too much. The problem was not even low sales. The real problem was that nobody taught her that shelves need strategy, not just products. Now you understand FIFO, you understand FEFO, but here is something even more shocking. What if I told you many Nigerian businesses don't actually know when to reorder stock? Some buy too early, some buy too late, some run out of products during peak demand, others fill their stores with goods that won't sell for months. How do companies like Nestle, Coca-Cola or Chivita know exactly when to buy? How do they avoid running out without wasting money? The answer lies in 4 powerful concepts: lead time, safety stock, the other points, and demand forecasting. These are the invisible systems that keep flowing even when the economy becomes unpredictable. And once you understand them, you will stop guessing and start planning like the professionals. So far, we've uncovered something many business owners never think about. A shelf is not just where the products are displayed, it is where profit is protected or destroyed. We've learned the difference between FIFO and FEFO, but today we are entering the room where the real decisions are made, because arranging products correctly is only half the job. The bigger question is, when should you buy more stock? Buy too early, your money sleeps on the shelves. Buy too late, your customer meets empty shelves, and empty shelves don't make money. Picture this: it's Friday evening, people are returning from work. One man enter your provision store. Madam, 2 cartons of Indomie. You smile, turn around, and then your face change. No stock. It is finished. This afternoon. The customer nods politely. No problem. He walks across the road, buys from your competitor. Next week, where do you think he will go first? The shop that disappointed him, or the one that had what he needed? You did not just lose one sale, you may have just lost a loyal customer. Customers don't always announce they are leaving. Sometimes they simply stop coming, and many business owners blame the economy when the real problem is poor planning. Let me ask you something. How many times have you entered a shop only to hear, "Oh, Titon, it has finished"? Have you noticed some shops are always saying, "Come back tomorrow," while others always seem prepared? What do they know that others don't? Let's find out. There's a phrase used in supply chain: lead time. Big grammar, simple meaning. Lead time is the time between placing an order and receiving that order. Imagine you call your beverage distributor today. He says, "I will deliver on Thursday." Today is Monday, that means your lead time is 3 days. Simple. Now here is the danger. If your drinks finish on Tuesday but your supplier won't arrive until Thursday, what happens on Wednesday? Empty shelves, lost sales, frustrated customers. That is why smart businesses don't wait until stock finishes. They plan before it finishes. Think about our mother in the market. Many of them don't use Excel. They don't know use expensive software. Yet somehow they know exactly when to call their suppliers. Why? Because experience has taught them that suppliers don't appear by magic. Every supplier needs time. That is least time. But they may not know the English term, but they understand the business wisdom. Here is something funny. Many entrepreneurs plan their weddings better. They plan their inventory. They know exactly when to print invitation card, but they don't know when to reorder picnic. Business does not reward guesswork, it rewards preparation. Now imagine this, you normally sell 20 cartons of bottled water every week. Suddenly there is a heat wave, demand double, everybody wants cold water, your calculations are no longer enough. Or imagine fuel scarcity, trucks are delayed, rain floods the road, your normal delivery schedule changes. What now? This is why businesses keep something called safety stock. Think of it as your emergency reserve, not because you want product to sleep, but because life is unpredictable. Business is not only about planning for normal days, it is about surviving abnormal days. Hope is not an inventory strategy. Prepare before problems arrive, because emergencies don't send invitations. Remember COVID, remember lockdown, remember when hand sanitizers disappeared, face masks disappeared, some shops sold out in hours, others still had stock. Who made more money? The people who prepared. Planning does not stop problems, planning helps you survive them. Now, here's the mistake many small businesses make. They wait and wait and wait until only one carton remain. Then they finally call the supplier. By then it's already too late. Professionals use something called a reorder point. It simply means there's a number that tells you order now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Maybe your rule is when picnic reach 5 cartons, I must place another order. Simple, no emotions, no guessing, just discipline. Because successful businesses don't make decisions based on panic, they make decisions based on systems. Imagine driving from Lagos to Ibadan. Will you wait until your fuel tank reaches zero before looking for a filling station? Of course not. Then why do many businesses wait until shelves are empty before buying more stock? Now let's talk about something almost magical, demand forecasting. Don't worry, it's not magic, it's observation. Think about Nigeria. Do people buy the same things every month? No. During Christmas, soft drink fly off the shelves. Rice, cooking oil, chicken, everything moves faster. During Ramadan, certain food items become hot sellers. When schools are resuming, exercise books, lunch packs, biscuits, juices, demand changes. Smart businesses don't react to these seasons. They prepare before they arrive, because tomorrow profit is usually planned today. The best entrepreneurs don't predict the future perfectly. They pay attention to patterns become plans become profits. Let's go back to the supermarket owner from part 1. Maybe she was not lazy, maybe she was not careless, maybe nobody ever taught her. Lead time, safety stock, the other point, demand forecasting. Sometimes business don't fail because people don't work hard. They fail because they work hard without a system. Now we've reached the final stage. You know how to move stock, you know when to reorder, you know how professionals plan. But there's still one question. Why do small businesses keep making the same inventory mistakes year after year? In the final part, we will expose the 7 inventory sins that silently drain profits from Nigeria businesses. We will also do a 10-minute shop audit challenge that every trader can complete immediately. By the end, you won't just understand inventory, you will know how to turn your shelf into one of the most profitable business part of your business. Because here on Street MBA with Kapick, we believe the difference between a struggling business and a thriving one is not always more capital. Sometimes it's simply better thinking. We've come a long way. We discovered that inventory is not just product, it's cash. We learned the difference between FIFO and FEFO. We enter the world of lead time, safety stock, reorder points, and demand forecasting. Now, let's talk about the mistakes. Not because I want to criticize anybody, but because you can't solve a problem you refuse to recognize. Today, I'm exposing the 7 inventory sins that quietly destroys thousands of Nigerian businesses every single day. And trust me, you will recognize yourself in at least one of them. So, sin number 1, buying because it is cheap. There's a sentence many business owners love: supplier gave me a discount. Sounds smart until you ask one question: did you actually need the stock? Sometimes we buy because the price is attractive, not because demand is attractive. You buy 50 cartons of mayonnaise because it's on promotion. Meanwhile, your customers only buy 5 cartons a month. Congratulations, you did not save money. You locked your money inside your store. Discount don't create profits, sales do. Never confuse a cheap purchase with a good business decision. The cheapest product can become the most expensive if nobody buys it. Sin number 2, buying with emotions. NEPA has brought lights, let me quickly buy. My friend said sugar will be expensive. I just have a feeling. Business is not betting. Business is evidence. The smartest trader don't order based on fear, they order based on numbers. Quick question: have you ever entered a supermarket and wondered, why are there 20 brands of the same biscuit? Choice is good, confusion is expensive. We will come back to that. Sin number 3, ignoring dead stock. Every shop has them, product that nobody touches. They've become part of the decoration. Dust know them, spiders know them, only customers don't. Dead stock is dangerous because while you are praying for capital, your capital is hiding on the bottom shelf. Imagine a barber, he buys 10 expensive hair products because someone on TikTok said they are trending. 8 months later, the product are still there. He says business is slow. No, the product are slow. Sometimes the problem is not low sales, it's poor buying decisions. I know because even in my barber shop, I've had to learn this lesson. Not every product deserves a permanent place on your shelf. Every item in your shop should answer one question: am I making money or am I occupying space? If it can't answer it, replace it. Sin number 4, never counting stock. Some traders know exactly how many followers they have on Facebook. They know how many WhatsApp contacts they have. But ask them, how many cartons of picnic did you have? Silence. Business without counting is gambling. Big companies call it cycle counting. You don't wait until the end of the year. You count regularly because numbers reveal problems before customers do. Sin number 5, mixing old and new stock. The supplier arrives, new drinks comes in. What happened? The new cartons go in front, the old cartons disappeared behind. Month later, those old cartons become expired. Then we blame the economy. No, we ignored FIFO. A simple rearrangement could have saved thousands of naira. Stand up tomorrow morning, go to your shelf, touch every product, ask yourself, if I were the customer, would I buy this? That one exercise alone will save your business money. Sin number 6, no records. Some people run business entirely from memory. I think we sold many yesterday. I think customer like this one. I think profit is okay. Because business is not I think, business is I know. Write it down, use a notebook, use Google Sheets, use Excel, use inventory software. It does not matter where you start. What matters is that you know your numbers. So when I was preparing for a material planning interview, I realized something. The companies were not just looking for people who know Excel. They were looking for people who understand how numbers tell story. Because every spreadsheet represents real product, real customer, real money. Excel is only the language, planning is the wisdom. Don't learn Excel just to pass an interview. Learn it because your business deserves better decisions. Scene number 7, chasing sales but ignoring cash flow. This one is the biggest sin of all. Some businesses celebrate, we sold everything, wonderful, where is the money? Customers bought on credit, suppliers are calling, rent is due, staff salaries are waiting. Business is not only about selling, it is about converting inventory into healthy cash flow. That is why I always say profit is important, cash flow keeps the light on. So the 10-minute challenge. Now before you close this video, I want you to do something. Tomorrow morning, spend just 10 minutes in your shop. Check every expiry date, move other products to the front, separate dead stock, write down products that have not sold in months, count your inventory, ask yourself, when should I reorder this? And finally, calculate one thing. How much money is sleeping on your shelf today? That exercise might reveal more business truths than 10 motivational seminars. Let's go back to the supermarket owner. From the beginning, she thought she needed more customers. She thought she needed a loan. She thought she needed better luck. But after learning proper inventory planning, something amazing happened. She did not magically double her sales overnight. She simply reduced waste. Products stopped expiring. Shelves became organized. Customers trusted her shop more. Cash began moving faster. And slowly, the business became healthier. Sometimes growth does not come from any more. Sometimes growth comes from losing less. You know why when people hear the words material planning, they imagine a corporate office, people wearing helmets, factories, computers, managers. But today, I hope you've seen something different. Material planning begins long before the factory. It begins in the mind of every entrepreneur who chooses to think before buying. Whether you are selling Indomie in Ibadan, medicines in Onitsha, soft drinks in Kano, or running a barber shop like me, the principles remain the same. Plan, count, observe, improve. Business success is rarely an accident. It is usually the reward for consistent discipline. There is an old Yoruba saying, Ojú ni ọlọ́jà fi ń ṣọ́ ọjà. A trader's greatest tool is not just capital, it is careful observation. The market has always been teaching us. The shelves have always been speaking. The numbers have always been telling story. The only question is, have we been listening? Because here on Street MBA with Kapick, we believe something powerful. The street is not just a place where people hustle. The street is a business school, and every market, every kiosk, every supermarket, every roadside job has a lesson waiting for those willing to pay attention. If today's documentary changed the way you think about business, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with one supermarket owner, one pharmacy owner, one provision seller, one entrepreneur, one student dreaming of a career in supply chain. Subscribe to Street MBA with Kapick, where we translate corporate business knowledge into everyday Nigerian wisdom. And in our next documentary, we will uncover another business secret hiding in plain sight. Until then, keep learning, keep planning, keep building. I be Kapick, and this na Street MBA with Kapick. Stay sharp, stay street smart. Apply the lesson learned for today. Washiri.